Greetings. Welcome back to Behind the Magic Film Set Construction. In this episode, it was a spontaneous discussion between a couple working pros that I just happened to catch on camera. They were pretty much riffing, and just going back and forth, talking about what it takes to be a working pro in the film industry on the construction side, and a good working pro at that. They were just dropping knowledge, they were talking about things that, I didn't even really know about, being someone from the art department. They touched on topics such as, plasterers, painters within the film industry versus real world painters, and what it takes to be a good pro in that sense. As usual, we'll be introducing terms. You'll see them at the bottom of the screen. Different definitions that these pros talk about. And we'll also introduce a few terms for positions, that is job titles that's available within the film industry in the context of the construction department, that unless you're inside the business, most people don't know about, but these are good positions, good jobs that pay very well, and the guys, have fun, and you get to build some cool stuff. So welcome again, and thank you. Hit subscribe, share with your friends.
I think every trade above, it takes a special art to be a laborer. Mm-hmm. I think you got to know how to communicate. Yeah, to be a good one. You got to know, you got to learn quick. You got to work quick. Mm-hmm. You got to know what needs to be clean and hit, and you got to know the people that are around you and have a good rapport with them. Mm-hmm. And so that's an art unto itself. Yes, but as far as a specialty trade, I think everything is its own specialty trade, because plasters, we have hottie. Mm-hmm. So it's not like I've got to go over there and know what chemicals to mix and the ratio to mix to get that concrete wall to look. No. What I do know is how to put what he mixes on that wall. You see what I mean? And I've got to know my basics as far as the concrete goes. Mm-hmm. And I mixed my own mud for over 20 years doing tile. So I've always mixed my own mud, whatever type of mud. I had to learn what it was and then learn to mix it and then learn to use it. And so I'm fine with that. I don't mind being my own hottie, but I found that other guys in the industry, as soon as you talk about mixing mud, they don't want no part of it. Even though they're awesome at putting it on the wall. Right. And so I think that comes from being in the outside world for so long, But everything's its own specialty is what I've seen. You've got the basic painters that can go in there and just paint, and those are better than most painters outside in the real world. Mm-hmm. Then you got painters that are specialty painters. They age. Yes. And then you've got sculptors. Yes. And then you've got, they're all specialty. And I think that what gets overlooked is the fact that the prop makers have so much responsibility. Mm-hmm. So you have to be able to do so much as a prop maker. Correct. And those that stand out in the prop making world are the foremen. Sometimes the game boss, but mainly the foreman, the stage foreman, the general foreman. Those are the really talented individuals that stand out, sometimes above the rest, and they've got the knowledge too. Without having the knowledge around construction, and beyond your basic construction, you'll never be one of those people. I think they're always learning, always, constantly. Mm-hmm. So, and I found that it was really humbling being around the level of craftsmen that I've been able to perform with. Is just absolutely, I had no idea. It's absolutely amazing to be and learn.
See, we catch that and use that, because that on the end of having something else that we've been discussing throughout one of our other podcasts, that saying right there is what I've been feeling for 30 years. Because when I got into the business, I'm working with some old curmudgeonly looking little old guy. He got an apron on, smoking a cigarette. His name was Old Al. I've been making for 45 years at that point, or whatever it was. Build whatever it was, and he got my respect because he was training me. Because for me, he was showing me what Hollywood was about. All that Hollywood. I'm getting from around here with an apron on, hardly able to walk. But he used to let me know what Hollywood was like. And his words to me, slow down, young buck.
Yep.
Trying to work us all out of work?
Yep.
Trying to put us all out of work? kids here to do. Slow down. Because the MO in Hollywood is we're professionals, bro.
Yeah.
Make it right. This is a one-shot thing. Camera's gonna capture it, and it'll be held on camera forever. But how many more of these you got? How many C-17s have you built?
Right.
You know what I mean? You may build 2 in your lifetime if you're lucky, but so far there's only been 1 for Phil Henry. We built the whole get-out, right? And so when I see him now, and I see our boys that war unload, I'm like, man, we built that just like that. We did it for what show was that we were working on? Y'all don't think you were with us?
Black Panther.
Black Panther one after that. With,
Was it Jungle Cruise?
Jungle Cruise, yes sir.
Oh yeah.
The tail end of the C-17.
I built the boat.
No, not Jungle Cruise. Come with me with another one.
Was it Jumanji?
No. It was a game show that turned into a movie with the Rock in it. Not Donkey Kong.
Rampage.
Thank you.
There
Yes,
you
sir.
go.
Good memory, Omar.
I've built 2 planes.
Yes.
I built the plane, Tony Stark's plane on Spider-Man: Homecoming, and then I built some of the plane with Billy Brown on Game Night.
Same type of plane?
No, it was a
G4,
smaller passenger plane, something like
Interior or exterior?
Interior.
Mm-hmm.
It was interior, and they did a fight scene in there. And I remember them walking off the plane, handing Michael C. Hall a towel and him drying off, and I'm sitting there, and I end up 10 feet behind the director, and there's Jason Bateman, and there's Michael C. Hall right here, and then there's Rachel McAdams, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? I'll never forget that. Right. But yeah, it's all about being in the right place at the right time for that. But as far as prop making goes, it's easy to see how you would think you would just fit right in with a construction background. Mm-hmm. You would just fit right in. Oh, I got this. I've been doing this for however many years and stuff. Mm-hmm. And you may have a lot more of the basics down.
Correct.
Than another person.
Correct. Basics.
But it all depends on who you're working for. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is you could be making this guy loving you by what you're doing over here, and you get to the next show, and that guy comes up and says, "What are you doing? Why are you doing that like that?" And he doesn't want you to do it like that. So you've got to be malleable in how you approach what you're doing, and know that this guy doesn't want it done like that other guy. And log that away somehow. It's a finicky type industry, because everybody wants it done their way, and a lot of people have a different idea about which way to go.
Correct. See, and we have less of that where I came from.
Right.
Because it's been around for so long.
Right.
I didn't question Old Man Al, and if I was doing it different than Old Man Al was doing it, I changed my way. Because Al's been
correct,
and I'm a new guy here. I can burn up building houses. But we're prop making, man. We're not carpenters here. We're prop making. I gotta follow Old Man Al. And Old Man Al way don't do it like my way did it. So my way has to be put in my back pocket. And Old Man Al showed me Hollywood. And Hollywood does it a little different than we do it on the outside. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of, so we don't have the whole unacceptable, acceptable like you just described.
I think what it
is
in LA, you have it. Mm-hmm. But most of the time when you get with a guy that keeps you busy in LA, you're with that guy. I've noticed a lot. Not every time. Yeah, but a lot more of that goes on.
Maybe so.
Than here. Because there's always a steady stream of movies, has been. Mm-hmm. So, I've been with blah, blah, blah for so long because he gets one movie right after another. I've just been going from movie to movie to movie with him.
Very true.
And that's the more talented guys I'm talking about.
True.
But those are the guys that they ship over here from LA. You just stay. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. You see what I mean? A lot of those guys have been with that one coordinator for so long that they wouldn't realize that the other guy wanted it done a different way
because they've been with somebody else.
Right. Or only a couple other people.
Correct.
And so I've seen a lot more of that coming from LA than I have from Georgia.
And that's
we're kind of like almost our own entity down here.
In that sense, yeah.
Becoming our own entity
because it's new.
And there's so many productions going on, and there is a lot of that. You get a lot of local coordinators down here, and they just want it done, and done right. But they're not really particular about which way you're doing it. You got other local coordinators that are particular about it, and they don't want to do it the way that those guys do it.
Right.
They feel that's a waste of time and money, and they need it done like this.
Right.
So, the trick is to be teachable, I think.
I think so.
Always.
And that's what we want to convey to the students. because that's also a learning, something that they have to understand. They may be the dad's cabinet shop, and now they come into the movie business, but the ticket is to be malleable, you know what I mean? So that you can be taught. Don't come in here all high and mighty because you've been doing cabinets for the last whatever it is. Because guess what? I'm gonna put you on them cabinets, and I don't want to do them that way.
Yeah.
And I'm the boss. So the way your dad taught you is all fine and gravy, but we ain't doing it like that.
No, and you're not using the same material that you would
All
be
kind of
building a custom cabinet for a house.
Correct.
You're
That
building.
was just an example.
No, but that's a big deal because there's a lot of certain steps you would take to building a cabinet using oak or maple, and you don't do that with MDF. You know, you just don't do that, and so there's a big difference in building a movie cabinet most of the time than there is building a cabinet for a home.
That's completely different. That's exactly right. Building construction. That's going back to what you were saying earlier about the basics. Outdoor construction's way different, even though it's the same thing. Window is a window. Do them different in the business than we do them on the outside.
Yeah, because it's sitting in a stage.
Right.
We don't need it to be waterproof and siliconed in and all that kind of stuff. It just needs to open and shut.
That's it. And
if they want wind, they'll turn the fan on.
Yeah, man. Right.
So it's a whole different ball game.
So I think we want to share that with the youngsters. You know what I mean? That way they get some of that, and they can understand that when they come in here, that's not taking anything away from them, because as they start their careers, we want them to feel kind of appreciative and kind of proud. You're in the business, man. What you're doing right now is going to be seen.
Yeah, I've never in my life been more excited to work.
Right?
Ever.
Oh, man.